Welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Brain-Based Coaching Program, Testimonials. I'm excited to share that Neuroleadership Institute is celebrating 25 years of successfully building great coaches through its flagship program, the Brain-Based Coaching Certification. Easily one of the longest surviving coaching techniques, which continue to draw full houses through the year. Today, we are privileged to have Mr. Tilak Raj Seth, the Executive Vice President, retired, and Head of Mobility from Siemens India. He's currently advisor to some companies and also moving very strongly with his coaching practice. So welcome, sir. Tilak sir, basically, I'll be asking you a couple of simple questions and I seek your candid views on them. So let me get started. So which month did you actually join the BBCC program?
I joined in January, February plan of BBCC, the Communication Skills Program first.
Okay.
And then, of course, it was followed up by the full program of coaching.
Okay, so you were the Jan batch of this year, Jan 2023 batch. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So if my memory serves right, you were already coaching before you enrolled into the program. And there are many amongst our listeners who are in the very same space, who are currently doing some coaching. And so it would be interesting to know what made you take up a professional certification course. What was the trigger?
Well, Shaman, first of all, now I know coaching a little better. But before I enrolled into this program, since I've been a people's man, a business manager, in a leadership role, you end up guiding people, mentoring people. And now, of course, I know the difference between guidance, advice, mentoring, and coaching. And as you know, coaching is more centered on the coachee to take the accountability on her shoulders and do it better. So prompted me was, of course, I have been too much in the thick of business, which is deliver the bottom line. And this delivering the bottom line is a people's effort. And I had thought that as part of my second innings, I would share is my experiences. And there were some guides like you who said that coaching could be a good profession, and friends like you advised that it is actually neuroscience based and a little bit different from what a business leader normally or an HR leader normally guides the people. That triggered really a great thought in me, because I really wanted to do kind of people's development and share my experiences. And I'm so glad that such an advice came from somebody, because now my thoughts are completely different on how coaching is with respect to very conventional understanding how a parent takes through a child, how a business leader takes through an employee. And now I realize that it's altogether different and a very, very powerful method of coaching that Neuroleadership explains.
That's really very interesting, and we have all, I think, had the same experience in many ways. So Tilak sir, the thing is that now that you have achieved this very prestigious brain-based coaching certification, is it making any difference in the way you are now coaching people?
Well, it started all the way from the first session itself. One is a very structured coaching program where somebody else understands you as a coach, and somewhere you have your normal interaction is in life with many people in all units of people, like a family, like a friend circle, like a business. And everything that I learned, I think it reoriented my thought process. I could listen with a new insight, and I could use some of the very soft and and structured methods to kind of create inside situation for the other party. Since I have to mention, I also learned, by the way, this Italian phrase, amparo incaro. Um, I don't know whether I'm saying it right, but what it meant was I'm still learning. So it fundamental topic is that it taught me new methods, and I'm just a beginner here, and I'm sure it'll be absolutely a new method. Well, my experience in terms of dealing with people doesn't go away. It only what Neuro Leadership Institute brought additionally to me augments my tools. It sharpens the tools better. So I'm sure
Fantastic,
it helped me
fantastic,
a
and
lot.
so encouraging to hear that. Especially from a senior leader like you. It's very, very encouraging. Now, just taking on from there, what are the one or two things? Because you've just gone through an education program. And so an education program is made of many things. It is made of it's content, it's the way it's structured, the facilitators and all of that, right? Resources that you get to sort of do, practice that you do. So what one or two things in your view was the most exciting part of doing BBCC?
First of it all, it was the so-called class group, or a group, and a facilitator or a faculty or a teacher, as you may call it. This itself is very exciting for an old dinosaur like me, and who has been to institutes for earlier in life. So the academic setting itself was very good. It was a beautiful group, very transnational, and very diverse. And in our learning sessions, I could be taught by a diverse method, by a diverse form of age, gender, and internationality. So I like that very much. The facilitators and the faculty was, just to say the least, was very highly interesting and competent. And we also had a lot of recording sessions, and they were all extremely effective. And I got into the so-called student mode all over again in my life. It was extremely interesting, and of course, the network that got created between the faculty and this still continues, and so it was very nice for me.
Fantastic, fantastic. Yeah. So you really enjoyed your second go at going back to college, and which is so nice. Sir, I must ask you this question. As you are aware that brain-based coaching grew out of deep neuroscience research, and it's combined positive psychology, change and system theory, and many other similar things. Now, this whole foundational neuroscience, of course, it doesn't. It touches upon it during the program. How was this use? How is this useful to you in terms of your learning?
I think we all know the behavior, attitude, and action science in our has been taught for decades to the business leaders or other leaders. But how the real action is taking place? The various primitive parts of the brain, or the modern thinking elements, those sections of the brain, is how they are about to react is never thought. Is or how to re-trigger back from what's called from impasse or negative position to a state of action and positive side. I've seen this action in place in not only so-called settings of a classroom, but I've seen it outside. And if I relate back to my own interaction with thousand people I have had in my life, I'm able to realize, how people react. the way they react, because now you have these things backed up with so-called neuroscience research, and well, as I said, I'm only a beginner. We have a lot to learn, and brain is one of the most complex things of. But I think how to move from a impassive state to a positive state of mind, and to do those actions for which there would be high kind of action and commitment to do this, coming out of your own insight or coming out of the coaches or coachees insightful thinking. It's a great method, and I think it's very effective, and I think it will help me a lot. If I had learned this 20 years back, my effectiveness would also have been a lot better.
This is absolutely, so true. And as I always say, that once you're touched by neuroscience, it won't leave you. It's so exciting, actually. Great. So I have just one last question for you. And this question I'm asking on behalf of many people who are possibly going to listen to this video. Many people ask us that this is a, 4 to 6 months long program, and it's completely virtual in nature. Now, people have different views of how a virtual program will be like. Will it be very tiring? Will it be very constraining to us? Will it be too much online fatigue? So just want to ask you, because you've gone through this very long, 6+ odd months of program. What's been your experience with virtuality?
I think if we were discussing this topic 5 years ago, then it would be a kind of a intriguing question. But I think the outbreak of the corona in the world anyway prepared the world how to deal with virtual connects. As far as this program is concerned, I did not, in fact, feel any constraint. In fact, the so-called being connected in virtual gives a lot of flexibility, in the sense that, is in my own group, we even had a person from Canada joining us. So you can understand a person from Canada joining you, and still having the flexibility of everybody's convenient time. I believe this worked, and there was a kind of a fraternity and a bond in the team that everybody accommodated each other quite well. And many times, many people were on the go on the street as well. So they all understood the person on the street needs to still grasp what is talked about. And sometimes there were extended mini sessions to augmenting such a person. But I believe by and large, virtual connects are here to stay. So but it was effective. One doesn't need to kind of justify why they were there. I think that's the way of life now.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad that your experience has also been very positive, because a lot of people still dilly-dally between how long will this be, and hence that question. So okay, so I am kind of done, sir. Any last thoughts from you before we close this session?
And I don't know who your audience to our small conversation is. If it is already the team who's doing a course, then I would like to mention that the entire format of creating insight is, and let's say the dance of insight, the micro module within the macro module of the create format is wonderful. And more you practice, that's how you will get the art of creating the insight in front of people, or in your front. And also it creates insight for me as a coach. It's tremendous platform in the way that one could follow it till the review program of or review format of accountability, on a regular basis without really inviting the monkey, as I say, from the coach's shoulder to the coach's shoulder. I believe there is a lot to learn from this program. So this is for the people who are already doing it. People who are yet to think whether to enroll for such a program, my message would be, the way we understand guidance and mentoring and coaching in our common world is a little bit different from the coaching what Neuroleadership Institute is doing, because it is providing a method, a platform, which creates an insight of a kind, like when you solve a puzzle. It creates an ownership and accountability on the person who's solving the puzzle, and which is the coachee. It's tremendous program, and it's worth all the time that people can spend here.
Thank you so much for your kind words, sir. So that was in conversation with Mr. Tilak Raj Seth, who's retired and he was the Executive Vice President and Head of Mobility of Siemens India. So thank you very much for your time, sir, and wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.